I think the New York Jets are giving Brant Boyer way too much rope. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be talking about special teams coordinator Brant Boyer, and I just don't know how to feel about what is currently going on with the New York Jets in terms of building the roster and Brant Boyer's say on the roster, which I just think is a little bit too heavy at this point. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Brant Boyer has been the New York Jets special teams coordinator since 2016, which is absolutely insane. He is the longest tenured Jet in the coaching staff, and I think in players, just everything. Like, it's insane. I think there are some people in the front office who have been here, obviously, longer than Brant Boyer, but all of that being said, he's been here for a long time, and he has absolutely been the special teams coordinator of some really, really good special teams units. For the longest time, the New York Jets' best unit was special teams, and we can see where special teams can win you and lose you games. We all watched the New England Patriots game last year where we lost the game on a kick return. Like, that's it, or a punt return, or whatever it was. So I get it. I totally understand the value that comes with special teams. It is an integral part of the way that football is played. But the way that I always looked at a special teams coordinator was, especially for a good football team, was a special team coordinator's expertise is getting the guys that are on the roster and making them special teams aces. That's his job, is to get guys that contribute to the football team and get them to contribute not just on their respective side of the ball, whether it's on offense, whether it's on defense, no, but to get them to contribute on offense and on defense and then in special teams. A great example of this is a guy like, for the longest time, Braxton Berrios. I couldn't remember his name for a second. I had him and then I lost it. Braxton Berrios was a good wide receiver for the Jets, was a great returner for the Jets, even made a Pro Bowl as a returner. Boom, boom. He can contribute on offense, he can contribute on special teams. Brant Boyer is doing his job. Let's keep it going. Brandon Echols, doubling up again. Brandon Echols was a starting cornerback for the New York Jets and contributed on special teams. That's awesome. You love to see that. And when he got demoted and he lost his job because we signed DJ Reed and we drafted Sauce Gardner, Brandon Echols is still the next man up in that cornerback room and still contributes to special teams. Fantastic. That is exactly what Brant Boyer's job is supposed to do. But then we start getting into another example. Everyone's favorite New York Jet, not all of a sudden, but like they love this guy. Michael Clemens. Michael Clemens is not built to play special teams, yet he's on the special teams unit, and it makes sense. No one wants to see Michael Clemens big, honky butt charging down at you because he's going to kill you. If he makes contact with you, you're dead. You just die. Easy breezy. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. But then you get into the New York Jets are a bad team. Let's give Brant Boyer some help. Let's get him a special teams ace, Justin Hardy. Now, I'm not okay with Justin Hardy being on the roster. I think he makes way too much money to just play special teams, but that's besides the point. I get it. We were a bad football team when we brought in Justin Hardy and kept him around for 2 years. Zach Wilson was a rookie and a sophomore, and while we thought he was progressing until everything fell apart, we weren't a team that had expectations on it. We could use a roster spot on a guy that only played special teams, and instead of being the normal NFL team that only carries 3 special teamers in terms of long snapper, punter, and kicker, we can carry a 4th and waste a cornerback spot. That's totally fine. But then the 53-man roster for this year came out, and not only did, again, on a roster that the building and the construction of this roster is so important. We're such in a crucial year to have us not waste an extra roster spot, especially at a position where we need as much depth as possible just in case of injury, because it is our best unit on the football team outside of the defensive line in the cornerback room, by having Justin Hardy. We're then sacrificing an offensive playmaker because we're keeping another special teams ace in Irvin Charles, someone who, I can say this right now, will not see the offensive side of the field at all this year. So we're going from the standard being special teams coordinator, you get 3 roster decisions. That is punter, kicker, long snapper. That's it. The rest of the 50 guys, you need to figure out a way to make your unit work. We're now giving 5 positions, 5 roster spots to special teams. Look, I'm going to trust in Joe Douglas, and I'm going to trust that Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett and Jeff Ulbrich are going to be able to figure out the rest of the team with missing these 2 guys. And hopefully I'm overblowing it. It's 2 guys out of a 50-man roster, right? Oh, we have 48 guys. But what happens because we're carrying a 7th wide receiver that only is going to play special teams? What happens when another room suffers an unexpected injury? Right now, we only have 3 tight ends on the roster. What happens when, instead of being able to carry a 4th tight end because we're carrying a 7th wide receiver that only plays special teams, and now we don't have a spot in an emergency for that extra tight end that we all know the New York Jets are going to love to use? What happens when the cornerback room gets hurt and we only have 2 backups in the cornerback room, Brandon Echols, once he's back from his suspension, and Bryce Hall? We're putting ourselves in a really precarious situation because we had a prime opportunity to carry on the 53-man roster depth, meaningful depth, players that could actually contribute to the majority of where the game is played, the offense and the defense, and instead we're giving Brant Boyer 2 extra roster spots for guys that are liabilities on offense and defense. Let me know what you guys think. Am I overblowing this situation? I'm just concerned that we're giving a special teams coordinator way too much sway on the roster, especially for a Super Bowl caliber football team. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button here if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, and join the Talking Just with Tigo Navy. If you want to watch more Talking Just with Tigo content, there is a new video. Go watch that. Last but not least, go Jets.